So we're going deeper on the drama for this video. The director, the writer, same person, the costume and the social commentary. I'm going in this direction because I believe that this film was made with an unusual level of intentionality. And if you know what to look for, there are layers in this film that most people watching will completely miss. So let's get into the craft. Spoilers of the way, of course. The drama was written and directed by Christopher Borgli, a Norwegian filmmaker. That detail is important because he's not American, and his outsider perspective on American gun culture is part of what gives this film its strange, specific tone. It's not angry, it's not preachy, it's curious. Like someone examining a cultural phenomenon through glass. They're bemused, fascinated, and slightly horrified. That detachment is also reflected in the film's perspective character, Charlie, played by Pattinson, who's also not American, but English. He's quite literally a foreigner processing something uniquely American. Borgli and Pattinson are both looking at the same thing from the outside in. Borgli's previous film was produced by Ari Aster, who also produced the drama. Dream Scenario was about a man who starts appearing in strangers' dreams without his consent, then becomes famous and cancelled by something he has no control over. The DNA is consistent. Borgli is obsessed with the gap between who we are and who we are perceived to be. He explores what happens when those two things collide violently in public. And the drama is the most extreme version of that question that he's ever asked. Borgli has been explicit in interviews that this film is not about cancel culture. That's the easy read. What it's actually about is the nature of romantic commitment. Specifically, how much of a person's past are you agreeing to carry on when you choose to love them? Emma's confession at the table isn't a scandal, it's a test. Not just of Charlie's love for her, but of everyone in that room's capacity for moral consistency. The worst thing you've ever done, Game, is a masterpiece of screenplay construction. And that's because it doesn't let anyone off the hook. Every person at that table has something. The film just decides which one you hear about. And that selection is deliberate. Borgli gives you enough to know that the moral hierarchy everyone is performing at that table is actually fiction. He's also doing something very specific with the concept of parental absence. And I want to talk about this because I feel like no one else, all the videos I've watched, no one is talking about this. Emma's father was military, physically present enough to own a rifle, but not emotionally present enough to know his daughter was building towards this catastrophe. When I was watching the film, I kept saying, where are the parents? What do you mean a child? He's walking around with a gun, shooting a gun, and there's no adult supervising. What's happening here? It's an American story told over and over again. The absent father, the unsupervised child, the gun in the house. Borgli connects all three dots without ever making a speech about it. The restraint is the craft. The costume designer Katina Danabasis, who also worked with Zendaya on Euphoria, built Emma's entire color palette around a film theory book. The book is called If It's Purple, Someone Is Gonna Die by Patti Bellatoni. This book marks specific colors to specific emotional and psychological states in cinema. Emma's wardrobe tracks her psychology across the film. The green sweater she wears in the meet-cute scene, the first time Charlie sees her, was specifically chosen by Danabasis to signal an underlying mental instability. It looks soft, it looks warm, but it is by her own account a warning. The audience just doesn't know it yet. By the third act, Emma's palette has shifted entirely. It's warmer, it's more saturated. She's been seen now. The secret is out. She has nothing left to hide. 4 identical wedding dresses were made for the third act alone because of the physical demands of those scenes. That's a production detail, but it tells you exactly how much the film anticipated chaos in its own ending. And then there's a press tour for this film, which in itself is a piece of storytelling. Zendaya and her stylist La Roche built every look around something borrowed, something old, something blue, something new. Each outfit corresponded to a different part of the wedding vow, and the looks progressed from light to dark across the entire campaign, mirroring the film's emotional arc look by look. At the final premiere, Zendaya was in black. The press tour was the film. Jackie Corin, a co-founder of March for Our Lives and a survivor of the 2018 Parkland shooting, called the film an inevitable evolution in storytelling. And I think she's right. We have reached a point in American cultural history where these events are so embedded in national consciousness that they've entered the grammar of storytelling. This film is asking, what do we do with that? How do we hold the humanity of a person who almost did the unthinkable, while also holding the reality of what that would have meant for everyone else? Borgli doesn't answer that, and that's correct because there's no clean answer. What he does instead is put it at that dinner table in the most intimate, personal, high-stakes settings possible, and watch what happens when abstract moral positions meet actual people that we love. That's the social commentary, not a statement, but a mirror. And I dare say I could never play that game with my friends. If that ever came up in conversation, I would just say I have nothing to say or tell them I don't remember, because I could never put myself on a chopping board like that, like Emma did. So the drama is a film that will mean many different things to different people depending on what they carried into the cinema with them, and that is entirely by design. That's all from me. I'll see you on Friday. Bye.